a few questions about first Gymkhana video. How did you learn how to drive like that?
Everything that I do in the Gymkhana videos is all basic rally skills. It's everything that I've learned from playing with the car and setting up the car how we do to race rally. So it's just sort of taking those skills and taking them a little further.
How long did it take to set up the course, and how did you come up with the ideas?
It only took me a couple hours to actually come up with the design of the course, and most of the ideas have been in my head for years, like trying to do moving donuts. So all that stuff just came together very simply once I saw the layout of what we had to work with, and then just placed the ideas where I wanted to do them.
How many tries for each shot?
Most all the shots in the video were done anywhere from 3 to 5 tries. Some of them took up to 8. Sort of all depended on the difficulty of what I was trying to do, and also figuring out what it took to make the car do it. Sometimes because of the different surface changes or tire pressures, time of day, all that type of stuff, the car reacted slightly different. So, I was able to figure most of the things out pretty quick, but most of the things took, between 3 and 5 tries.
Did you have an oh shit moment during the shoot, and what was it?
My only big moment in the video was actually hitting the barriers. That you only see that shot in the bonus edit. So it was just a slight miscalculation of speed, and ended up crashing the car kind of bad. Luckily, the Crawford Performance guys were able to put it back together because I still had a couple more things to shoot that day.
So what has become of the Gymkhana 1 car now that you have number 2?
The Gymkhana 1 car actually sees a lot of car shows nowadays. It isn't used that much, so it's either sitting in the DC warehouse or occasionally in the DC factory store in Hollywood, and goes out to Subaru dealerships or to car shows.
How fast were you going in the first high-speed drift?
I was going approximately 110 miles an hour.
How many sets of tires did you actually use making that video?
As far as I recall, and what it even says in the beginning of the video, is that we used 4 sets of tires for the filming of that whole video.
What kind of transmission is in this car?
The transmission used in the first Gymkhana car is a standard transmission that comes in an STI. I've actually abused that transmission pretty hard by using it in the Gumball 3000 in 2005, One Lap America in 2006, and then everything that I've done with that car with the Gymkhana stuff. So it's a pretty damn strong, standard Subaru Synchro transmission.
Is the car rear-wheel drive or four-wheel drive?
The car is definitely 4-wheel drive. It is Subaru's standard 4-wheel drive setup off, the regular STI road car.
How difficult is it to drift an all-wheel drive car?
To drift an all-wheel drive car is actually pretty easy. At least I think it is. It's a lot more controllable and predictable than a rear-wheel drive car, although the arc that it makes is quite different.
What's up with the Segway donuts? How did you come up with that?
The Segway donuts, another question I get asked all the time. Basically, donuts in a 4-wheel drive car are actually kind of fun, but after you've done them several times, they're not challenging anymore. So I was trying to figure out a way to do them in a different way that would, make it more difficult. So I came up with the idea of actually doing it around an object or something that was moving. And I've had several ideas of different types of things that could be moving, from trucks to people to tanks or whatever. But what I really wanted to do for this video was a motorized bar stool. And we just weren't able to find one to rent. And so we ended up with a Segway.
Who was on the Segway?
Mr. Josh Martelli. was the guy in the Segway, and he's actually the director of that video clip.
If you were in the Segway, who would you want to drive your car?
If I was on the Segway, I could tell you who I wouldn't want it to be. Travis Pastrana.
How do you feel when people say you are the greatest rally driver ever?
It's really embarrassing, and I get really embarrassed anytime anybody ever says that to me. But I have a long ways to go before I'll ever be, you know, the greatest or even close to it. So I appreciate that people enjoy what I've done and like to watch it, but the reality is I have a long ways to go before I'll be in the top echelons of the sport.
And now the question everyone wants to know. Will there be a Gymkhana 3 video?
Gymkhana 3. Well, Gymkhana 2 took so much out of me that I haven't really wanted to think about Gymkhana 3, but I have more ideas and want to try some new locations, so we'll see, maybe next year. Thanks again, everyone on Facebook and Naziok for submitting all those great questions. There were a ton of them that we weren't able to do, but there were a lot of really good ones in there, and I really appreciate that. So thanks again, everyone, for appreciating what I've been doing, and I really enjoy going out and making these videos and having a lot of fun with the car. So we'll have some more again sometime in the future.